All right, we are all done with our run, 2 miles done, and we ran today's 2-mile run at a 7:57 pace, which is pretty fast actually for me. So I've heard this idea before, maybe you've heard this too somewhere, and when people talk about getting faster, they talk about this idea of run slow to run fast. Well, today I ran fast to run fast, and that's partially what I want to talk about in today's video. Of course, now the sun comes out as soon as I'm done running, but for now, we need to head home and I need to make a coffee. So let's go do that, and we need to continue our chat on why running slow will not make you fast. All right, so I just got home. I wanted to mention, technically I lied. I think I said 7:57 is 7:42. Here's our Strava time over here. I wanted to mention that. So really, I was actually faster than I mentioned. So today was a true speed run. Overall, we have our iced latte with whole milk, hazelnut creamer, and then a single shot of Peru organic espresso, which is my favorite from Nespresso, by the way, and it's a single shot. Okay, now that our coffee is made, I want to get back into what we were talking about on why running slow will not help you run fast. So stay with me here. I want to paint this picture for you. You just signed up for a race. Let's say it's a half marathon, because that's what I'm doing. And you decide that you want to run at a goal average pace of 7 minutes, 30 seconds per mile. That's what you want to average for 13 miles, and that will achieve your goal. Now let's say that after you set your goal, you go out there and take this advice of running slow to run fast, and you go out there and you do your easy pace for your long runs, and we'll say your easy pace is 9 minutes per mile. So let's say that you've been training that way, and now you're getting close to race day. So keep in mind, for a 13-mile run, most people get their longest run at 10 miles. So you've ran 10 miles and you're running around a 9-minute pace. So fast forward 7 weeks and it's finally race day. Do you think you are A, going to magically show up on race day and run 3 more miles than you've ever ran, and run them a minute and a half faster than you've ever ran? Or do you think option B is gonna happen, which is you show up race day and you're gonna run about what you've trained to run that entire time, around a 9-minute pace? And let's say that with the training and building up your endurance, maybe you run 8:45 the whole race. It's obviously a no-brainer. You're gonna end up in option B. Now, this isn't to say that running slow or zone 2 training has no impact on your running at all. Obviously, you should be running the vast majority of your runs at a slower pace, but that's going to help you build up your endurance and your aerobic base. We'll talk more about why speed running is so important, but for right now, check out this banana bread that my wife made. It's incredible. It's kind of getting a little neck beard going. We got everything trimmed up here, and now that there's coffee in our system and we are ready for the day, I really want to just mention that overall point, for a kind of weird analogy, was just to say, when you're training at a slower pace to build up endurance, you're not going to show up on race day and just become faster. So that is why you need to incorporate speed training. Personally, I really enjoy speed training. I think for me, it feels good to finally go out there and just kind of let loose, open up the pace a little bit, and just get to running. Because sometimes I feel like I'm holding myself back and I want to know what I can really do. All right, it's finally too warm for a sweatshirt. Of course, I go running in the morning when it's 52 and windy. And then when my wife goes running right now, which is about 3 o'clock, then she gets 72 degrees, no wind, the sun is shining, she's probably getting a tan. I gotta start picking better times to run. Okay, the kitchen is really messy because Sylvia was making banana bread, I was making lunch, and yes, I am warming up another coffee here. Second of the day. But this is not a coffee chat. So when it comes to speed running, there are a couple precautions that you want to take before you just get out there and then injure yourself. I'm not talking about any silly injuries, any small things like, meniscus tears, ACLs, MCLs, stress fractures, nothing like that. I'm talking about like serious injuries, like shin splints. So if you want to avoid shin splints and avoid getting hurt or messing up your speed runs overall, here's 3 things to be careful of. All right, the first precaution you need to take, you need to make sure that you're as light as possible, especially with your shoes. I don't go crazy with this. I'm not a shoe guy who has 40 different pairs. I think I only own 3 pairs of running shoes, but I do have a pair of everyday trainers and a pair of shoes specifically for faster runs. So I run in the Hoka Mach 5s because it's a little bit lighter than my Saucony Endorphin Shift. No, Endorphin Pro. endorphin speed, shift. There's so many new Saucony fill in the blank 1s, 2s, and 3s. Like trying to remember all the Harry Potter movies and like all the Star Warses. Saucony endorphin shift 3. Those are the shoes that I run in for my everyday runs because they're thicker and they have more padding and they're a little bit heavier than the Hoka Mach 5s, for example. That's my preferred shoe to take out for these faster runs. They still have good support, they still feel comfortable, but they're a little bit lighter than those ones. So get yourself a pair of lightweight shoes that are gonna help you on these speedier runs so you're not carrying around extra weight on your feet. The second precaution you should take is run shorter miles to start. I would not go out there for your first speed run and just run 3 or 4 miles and see how you do. You may feel okay if you're picking up the pace a little bit, but what's probably gonna end up happening is you're gonna end up with shin splints, you're gonna be extra sore, and if you're too sore or your shins hurt, you're gonna miss future runs. So maybe start out with 1 mile for 1 speed run, maybe your first week or something like that. And then week 2, try going for 2 miles, and then continue to do 2 miles for a couple weeks. And then after you're starting to get comfortable with that pace, you can either push the pace at 2 miles or you can add in a 3rd mile. Sing! My last precaution is make sure you actually warm up before you run. Something to keep in mind when you're running faster is you can't just hop out of your car and just start running. You're gonna get winded pretty quick and you're not gonna feel very good. And then really it's just gonna be how many miles can I just hold on to this pace before I'm running out of breath, before I'm getting a stitch, as some people call it. I don't really get that. A side cramp is what we call that. So you really do wanna warm up prior to that, whether that's like a half-mile jog, stretching, just moving around a little bit. Anything you can do to stay warmed up is really important because once you start that run, especially if it's only 1 or 2 miles, you really want that to count. This is really good. Chocolate chip banana bread, 9 out of 10. It's not a 10 because I forgot to add butter. So tomorrow morning, Sylvie and I are gonna get up early and run outside. We have to do 4 miles at a pretty easy pace. And while I'm out there, I wanna give you a couple reasons why speed runs and speed training is gonna be beneficial for you in your upcoming events or your races. As promised, it is 6:40. We're out here for a morning jog, so we're doing 4 miles at our easy pace, which after doing a speed run is gonna be pretty nice for us. So while we're out here, I wanna go over a couple benefits to speed training and how that's gonna help you. All right, so the first thing is that when you do your speed runs, it's gonna force you to output more effort. So that's really good because it forces your body to deal with being more tired than you usually are. We are also heavily trying to outrun the rain right now. So if it rains, that stinks. On this side, it looks really good. On this side, it is really dark and my camera's not waterproof. So we're gonna see if we can survive this, but yep, I think we're about to get some rain. It's really dark over there and we're losing brightness over there. So we're gonna jog back. On your left, please move. We just hit mile 2 though. And the second thing that speed runs are gonna help you with during your race will be mentally coping with the discomfort. So whether that's just mental, like as you're running really fast, it's preparing you for that mindset of being late into your run, whether it's a 10K or half marathon. Being mentally uncomfortable is going to be really important because the first thing that is going to want to give out is your mind. So if mentally you're already kind of accustomed to that, you're going to do much better than if you kind of just jog your way through every workout and then you show up for your race day and kind of just hope that willpower will just push you through. All right, and tip number 3, doing speed runs will make your race pace feel easier. All right, it's getting pretty nasty out here, but I'll use myself for an example. If I'm trying to run at a goal pace of 8:20 per mile for a half marathon, if I'm doing my speed runs at 7:30 to 7:50, when I go out there on race day, that's gonna feel a lot easier because my body's used to running at a faster time. Even though it's for shorter, you'll get a chance to practice that and get really comfortable with longer mileages. All right, we just finished our run. We hit 2.5 miles. It's an easy run and now it's starting to come down a little bit out there. So Luna's in the background spying on us. Now I'm gonna have to make that coffee I did the other day, the hazelnut latte, because that was fantastic. So we're gonna make that. Hopefully as far as this video goes, you got something from learning about speed running, why it's important, and then things to be cautious of when you're doing it. So that is all for me. I'm gonna go shower and then get my Friday started. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic weekend. Consider liking and subscribing because I would appreciate that. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.